Welcome to the Let's Get Entrepreneurial podcast, your go-to resource for navigating the world of entrepreneurship.
In today's episode, we delve into the captivating idea that a magic formula for entrepreneurship success truly exists. Join us as we unpack each element of the formula, exploring how integrating these components can transform aspirations into tangible achievements and set the foundation for a successful entrepreneurial journey.
If you're looking to ignite your entrepreneurial spirit and transform your ideas into action, we invite you to follow our podcast.
The Let's Get Entrepreneurial podcast is your ultimate launchpad for igniting ideas and skyrocketing your entrepreneurial dreams. Tune in, buckle up, and let's unleash the entrepreneurial spirit within. Your two hosts will be Professor Gary Palin and serial entrepreneur Ryan Budden.
Well, hello, Ryan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing brilliantly. What about you, Professor Palin?
Doing really well. April is upon us. The spring's coming, getting ready to plant flowers. Ryan, today I want to talk about a topic which I don't believe I've ever shared this with you, my magic formula for entrepreneurial success.
Yeah, I knew we were going to record about this. I'm very curious about what we're getting into.
Okay, so this is the first time you're hearing this. The formula is composed of 4 parts.
Okay.
It is dream, plus believe in yourself, plus work damn hard, plus execute equals entrepreneurial success. The first part of it is dream. That really acts as a compass. Dreaming is the cornerstone of your journey, and the dream sparks the initial idea.
Absolutely. You've got to dream big. If you're not setting your sights high, that's the main reason you get into entrepreneurship. You're trying to change or shift something large.
I'm always a big fan of that, is dream big because it doesn't cost any more money to dream big.
Yeah, that's probably true, isn't it?
You know, dreaming big is free. Don't dream small. So that's really the starting point. You have to dream, and that gets your mind moving with various entrepreneurial ideas. And from there, you can start probing them. And once you settle on the idea with it from the dream, it really serves as your guiding light and your source of inspiration as you're moving forward. And it helps you launch goals and make decisions aligned with your objectives.
Absolutely. Especially if you're the founder of the organization, you carry this mantle of holding that dream. People are often looking to you to keep that alive and keep that sort of ever present in the distance so that everyone has something to work towards.
And it really articulates the purpose of the venture, is that starting point of that dream. That's really where your venture is set apart from others. Your value proposition comes from that initial dream.
It's also often how you get initial excitement, whether that's having other team members join your project, getting friends, family, fools, that first little bit of money to make it possible. It's from that initial dream.
That helps you to articulate the vision, but also to share the vision with others, as you just mentioned. I was trying to think of someone that dreamed and dreamed big that was very successful. What came across was an individual that I met. I don't know if you had a chance to meet him. It's Muhammad Yunus, the founder of the Grameen Bank. For those of you that don't know who Muhammad Yunus is, he's a Nobel Peace Prize laureate. His dream was to help the poor escape poverty by providing microloans. He is the father of the concept of microlending.
Yeah, hugely impactful man. He's done an enormous amount for rural communities around the world at this point.
Grameen Bank extends credit to the impoverished without requiring collateral. That model empowered millions of people, and especially women, by the way, to start small businesses and improve their families' living conditions.
Right. We did a couple activities at Elon University when I was your student, where the point was to raise money to help in microlending. And I still have a microlending account that I contribute to this day because of that.
It was a big dream he had. People thought he was out of his mind, which is very often happens when you have a big dream. He was able to make it happen with the Grameen Bank. And I thought that was the greatest example that I know of someone who dreamed really big and had a very massive impact.
Can you imagine going to a bank and saying, I want to start giving loans to people that have no ability to pay me back?
Yes, that's a difficult one. He was able to create a venture that did this.
It's amazing.
The second aspect of the magic formula is believing in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you are going to struggle. And that's something that's very hard for people, especially at the onset.
Absolutely. When you have no track record, to wake up with the same belief that you're the person that can do it. It's not just the idea, but you're the individual that's going to make it happen is very hard if you don't have something to lean back on or a previous success.
One of the more positive experiences from being a professor of entrepreneurship over many years, I've had numerous students say to me that I believed in them before they believed in themselves.
Oh, isn't that the ultimate compliment?
My point in bringing that up is you do want to surround yourself with people that are going to assist you in building up that self-confidence. The other side of the coin is don't surround yourself with negative people because they will drag you down and deteriorate any confidence that you have. Your network and your mentors are very critical in helping building up that confidence.
Without a doubt, they are of utmost importance, even from a social perspective. I often find that nascent entrepreneurs are very critical about who they're surrounding themselves from a business perspective, but their friend group or their main social group isn't really supportive of that journey, and it can be very, very hard for them.
There are some techniques to help you build up that confidence, and it takes time to do that because that's not a natural state for many people. One is to reflect on your past successes. So think about, I've succeeded in areas, and they can be small incremental steps, but really think of your successes, and you want to manage any negative thoughts. When they creep into your mind, you want to manage them and really push them aside.
Work past them as quickly as possible. The more time that they're allowed to sit in your head, the greater impact that they have.
Also, as a technique to believe in yourself, you want to embrace a growth mindset. Be focused on growing. And I like to think in terms of scalable growth. Let your vision in your dream be the guidance to your believing in yourself as you're moving towards that big picture. Within that, you want to set realistic goals. So have milestones that you're trying to achieve that are achievable. Because if you're just looking at the end game, it's easy to get frustrated and to lose confidence in yourself.
They're focused either too close, what's immediately happening now, and they don't have that long-term vision, or they're so focused on the long-term vision, they're not keeping up with the day-to-day mundane activities that need to take place.
Another bit of advice I'd have for someone, and this is very hard for people, is to seek constructive feedback. Before you do that, you want to teach yourself how to receive constructive feedback. It's not a threat, it's a positive, and then purposely seek it out and don't view it as a negative. View it as an area for growth.
That's a hard one. Even today, if I'm not primed and ready to hear that constructive feedback, sometimes the flinch reaction isn't a great one. You think that somebody's attacking you personally when all they're trying to do is point out an area of weakness that you could improve on.
Another area along this lines is to continuously learn and develop your skills. So it's a continual journey of learning and skill development.
Any of our active listeners will hear that from other episodes that we repeat that over and over again. You've got to be constantly curious and learning new things. That's what keeps you on the cutting edge or the bleeding edge, knowing that you're always at the top of innovation so that you can keep your knowledge base growing and therefore adding that to the venture that you're working on.
And the last bit of advice in believing in yourself, I know you love this one, it's celebrate every win.
Without a doubt, the small and the big.
That really helps build a confidence in yourself. And I believe if someone practices those habits, they can develop that belief in yourself. And it takes time. Be patient with it and don't be too hard on yourself also.
It's also a momentum thing. The more you're in the practice, the more you're celebrating those small wins, the more belief in yourself that you build up over time. And that momentum really helps.
Now, the third step, work damn hard. It's the reality of hard work, and it conflicts with many people that are nascent entrepreneurs is the myth of an overnight success. And that is a myth. Overnight success is BS because 9 times out of 10, that overnight success took that person 20 or 30 years to get there.
How true is that? It doesn't happen. You hear about it quite a lot. It does a disservice to people trying to duplicate that, as well as the person that's put probably tens of thousands of hours into that project already.
And I wish I had a formula that equaled entrepreneurial success that didn't include hard work, because I would share it with, well, actually, I wouldn't share it with everyone. I would probably write a book and do a series about it and make millions with that formula. I just don't know how to do it without hard work. Everything I've ever been involved with entrepreneurship is very hard.
Yeah, in fact, I discourage people from going into the path that seems too easy, because if it's too easy, it's not going to reap the rewards that you think it's going to.
Yeah, that expression, if it were easy, everyone would do it.
It's exactly right.
With that, it's very important to embrace persistence and resilience while you're working hard.
What you're highlighting there is just continuous. So you have to persist to make it continuous all the time. There can't be periods where your foot is off the gas, so to say. It's always got to be consistent hard work.
And I would encourage people to build a team and to delegate. Don't try to do it all yourself.
Right. You're going to reach an inflection point where you are too busy and the balls are going to start dropping from the air. And that's a thing that can't happen when you're in an early venture.
And the last aspect of working damn hard, be prepared for financial and personal sacrifices.
Welcome to the reality. A lot of new entrepreneurs that I talk to are redefining what hard work means to them. They've worked hard, quote unquote, in previous jobs and other things that they've done in life, whether that's schooling or another side hustle they've done. And they're redefining what that hard work looks like when they're really running their own venture.
As I was thinking about this particular episode with the hard work component, I thought of Madam C.J. Walker. Have you ever heard of her?
No, I have not.
She was the first female self-made millionaire in America.
Okay.
She created a line of hair care products targeting African-American women in the early 1900s.
Wow.
She faced the dual hurdles of racial and gender discrimination in those days. She built an empire from the ground up, and she traveled tirelessly to promote her products and educate women of color in hair care.
Amazing. Can you imagine what she ran up against back then? That would have been unbelievable.
So if anyone hasn't heard of Madam C.J. Walker, I would encourage them to read her biography. Amazing woman.
That's a cool inspiration to go after.
And hard work overcoming incredible obstacles and barriers toward success.
Absolutely.
For those who aspire to go higher in their entrepreneurial journey, we've got something just for you. Coming up next.
Are you ready to unlock your entrepreneurial potential? Introducing the Janus Entrepreneurial Report, your personalized roadmap to success. In just minutes, discover your unique strengths and areas for growth. Whether you're a seasoned business pro or just starting out, the Janus Entrepreneurial Report will help you identify and leverage your entrepreneurial tendencies. Don't wait, visit ProfSpirit.com and start your journey to success today.
Now, let's dive back into our journey of entrepreneurial insights.
The fourth one, again, one of our favorites, and we always tend to lean towards this, is execute. You have to execute the ideas with action plans and tangible outcomes. And I always maintain this is the most difficult part of entrepreneurship, is executing and creating value as a result.
It's what separates entrepreneurs that are going to be successful and entrepreneurs that are not, is the execution, getting it done.
There's components of learning through doing, turning your vision into reality. But while you're overcoming challenges, to do this, again, you want to achieve measurable outcomes, break it up into parts. That's, again, the old expression that we talk to is the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time.
Right. It's got to be that constant action. The people that are really on a day-to-day basis getting items moved from the to-do list to the done list are the ones that ultimately are successful.
These obstacles that you face or challenges that entrepreneurs face that create these roadblocks where, in all honesty, most give up. So you have resource constraints. I don't think I've ever spoken with someone that hasn't said, I don't have enough resources.
Time, money, whatever it is, they're probably lacking in one of them.
Today, very much technology integration is a major obstacle. And honestly, most people don't know what they're doing with it. They're very confused, and it's hard to find someone who can legitimately guide them towards that.
Right. And there are so many choices now. Making the right long-term choice can not only be super important, but is also very daunting.
I'm always throwing myself into knowing the next technology, understanding the integration of technology. I'm trying to stay up on it, and it moves fast and furious, but you can't let that obstacle stop you.
You can't. And it's also easy to get so far behind the trend that it's difficult to catch up. Whereas if you're always staying on top, it's not an incredible amount of work, but it's constant.
You have to stay on top of it. Don't think I've learned it and I'm done.
Right. No, without a doubt.
The other challenges you face, there's the market dynamics, the market shifts, regulatory hurdles can be very frustrating. Some industries more than others. Maintaining momentum is really hard.
Without a doubt, momentum is key. The energy required to get the ball rolling or the momentum started is much greater than if you just continue that momentum forwards. I think you might have given me this analogy. You're chasing the ball instead of pushing it up the hill.
Yes.
There we go.
People get into the problem of decision-making paralysis. They are afraid to make decisions. And if you are afraid to make decisions, you can't execute. I would rather make the wrong decision than no decision.
That's the execution component. Both you and I pride ourselves on being executors. Keep that momentum, be making the decision, be executing, and it might be wrong and you can pivot, than just sitting, waiting, and letting time pass.
Looking at this formula in its entirety, some practical advice that I would suggest to keep that effective momentum is you want to start with a solid plan. Then you want to maintain flexibility in your strategy, so don't be afraid to shift from that plan. Pivot is the word we tend to use. When you're building up an organization, foster a culture of execution. So you want everyone around you to be able to execute and make things happen. Don't rely on you solely. Focus on customer feedback, because if you're not listening to your customers, they will no longer be your customers.
That's of absolute critical importance. Your customers are also the people that are paying the bills.
Leverage your resources wisely. Don't just arbitrarily dish them out because they're very limited. So be very pragmatic with how you're spending your resources. Monitor your progress continually and measure success. I know you use KPIs, and you're a big fan of that, to implement that monitoring progress and measuring success.
It also just creates a common language so everyone knows what you're measuring and there's transparency through that.
And the last bit of advice I would say is embrace failure as learning opportunities, not as something I failed at.
Without a doubt, those are the biggest places that we learn, especially early day ventures. Those failures oftentimes are not the death of the venture. Learning from that so you don't repeat that mistake and create a death of the venture is really, really important.
Okay, so you've heard my magic formula for entrepreneurial success. What's your thoughts on it?
I think we're going to see a bunch of businesses start out of this one.
There might be a book in this one, Ryan.
No, in all honesty, though, I think you nailed it. Most people could apply some common sense and see that that's the way it actually happens in life, but it's really hard to see that until you're in it.
And I purposely use the word magic formula because that's what people really want. They want you to whisper the magic formula in their ears. Where I came up with this, I used to tell people there is no magic formula. It doesn't exist. People kept asking for it. I said, the heck with it. I'll create one. And that's what I came up with.
I like it a lot. I'm shocked I've never heard it before.
You didn't show up to that class. Any final bits of advice before we close out?
To me, the execution and the hard work are the key pieces I take out of that. That's what separates people that are really out there doing it and a vast majority of people who are stuck in that dreaming phase.
Yes, and I would just say use this as a foundational blueprint for any aspiring entrepreneurs across various sectors. They can adapt and apply this formula.
Absolutely.
Well, that sounds like a game plan. Let's get entrepreneurial.
Let's get entrepreneurial.
As we wrap up another episode of the Let's Get Entrepreneurial podcast, we extend our gratitude for your presence and attention. Your dedication to the entrepreneurial spirit fuels our passion for creating this podcast. Check out ProfSpirit.com to discover resources and courses designed specifically for innovators like you. Stay on the cutting edge by following us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and other platforms as it is released. Until then, keep the entrepreneurial flame burning.